Yo. Hello. Holy cow. Okay. That was chaotic. I was like, all right, time to stream. And then nothing was working. My God, how are you guys doing? Oh. Dude, what's going on with my hair? I need a haircut, bro. Hello. Fail over. Hello, hello. First indeed. Is it Natalia? Natala? Natalia? I don't know. I'm gonna assume it's Natalia. Lily, what's up? Brishan, yo, hello. Sandwich, hello, hello. Raggedy, what's up, man? Sheila. I don't know how to say your name. Abionis, hi. Eden, what's up, dude? What's up? Style Bob, yo. Oh, you're Mana. Oh, okay, okay. Just a nickname. Luan, what's up? Hello. Yeah, you said it right. I'm shocked. Okay, let me just get some things open here. We need a canvas to work with. How are you guys doing? First name basis. Chillin', nice. Visuals, what's up? Jolix? Yo. Things good, huh? Things good? Tomorrow's Friday. Oh, YouTube guys can talk through here. Indeed. I got it set up so it just forwards. It's a little weird for YouTube's chat in history because you see a lot of like bot forwarding of messages, but I think it's more important that you guys can talk to each other or have a conversation if something's going on, you know? You're making foliage, it's tedious. Yeah. Yeah, it's a tedious thing for sure. Let's see if I can't move the chat to a spot that looks good. Karim, what's up? Yo. Okay. I think I think I have everything set up. Please, Lord. All right, I'm gonna drop the music now. I'll have it playing for me. But now you can enjoy your own music, which is always nice. I'm doing pretty good. I have energy today. It's nice. This week has been very, very busy, and I was sick on Friday and all through the weekend and Monday. I would say I'm now sitting at around like 70, 80, 85% where I'm normally. Like I maybe need like, I don't know. I probably need another weekend of just resting and chilling. But no rest for the wicked. No, it's make sure to rest. It's important. Hello, Tubji. Yo. Okay, let me open up the scene here and we'll get started. Mana first as well. Look at this. Okay. Let's switch. Switch the critiques. There we go. Oh, nice. I'm totally center. Totally center. I think something's going on with my camera. Am I center here? I am. Okay, we're going behind the scenes. Are you ready? Give me a second here. We need to go to camera template. There it is. There we go. All right. Yeah, Karim, 100%. Okay. I'm going to put me over here because that looks like it would make sense. Where I'm going to trust it. Cool. I'll pay attention to chat in case you guys say that my camera randomly zooms in again, and then we'll just figure that out as we go. Okay. So let's take a look at manas first. Let me just. So it's a whole freaking post. Let's go. We'll just scale it up like this. Hello, mana. Is that your real name, Mana? You're going to your student. It's a student project for Vertex School as well. Okay, so not fully sure how this works, but here it goes. I'm going to update this piece, and I'd love to hear your overall opinion as if any of the renders need to be changed or removed, adding breakdowns, what would recruiters want to see. Mana's your real name. Man, you're the first Mana I've ever met. That's so cool. Maybe I'll meet you at a meetup someday. Okay, so like straight up, I advise against redoing things. Like if you've posted it to your portfolio and then you're like, okay, I'm gonna redo this. And how should I push it? The only thing that'll happen is you'll get another updated piece to your portfolio, right? It'll be relevant, I guess, to like where your current skill set is. But I think I'd rather see something new, you know? But that's just my 2 cents on reworking things. So are you just re-rendering stuff? Is that the idea? So for me, the renders look pretty good. And also Polygon, if you guys don't know who Polygon is, teacher, he reached out to me and let me know, and you guys should know this, that when you post videos of your work on ArtStation, make sure to watermark them somehow, because you can actually just download the videos straight up. So like watermarking them not only for like protecting your work from like being stolen, but also just so that recruiters, let's say they download a bunch of content to a folder and then have a bunch of people review your work or a bunch of other people's work, having your name embedded into the video is going to be really, really important. So yeah. So in a few months, I'll post my second piece, which will be an environment art. And with those, I'll start applying. And I just want to have both fine-tuned. Okay. Yeah, I guess what I mean is like not like full reworks. So to me, the renders here look pretty nice. The environment backdrop isn't like diminishing the. So if let's say if we like, oh man, the music I'm listening to is really loud. Let me lower this. Not full rework. Okay, cool. So when you look at the resolution of your work against the resolution of the assets around it, I think just making sure that there's a visual parity between those. Like right now, I can see that this is quite sharp, but it gets a little blurry down here. I'd maybe suggest making the, like your, let me see here. Is this going to work? Yes. Cool. Okay. I would make sure that your focal plane for like what's in focus is like between here and here. So that way the entire prop is in focus. Man, I like the little subtle bloom. I'm a fan of like old school bloom. So yeah, a little guilty there. But where are we at here? Future Empire. Yeah. There we go. Nice. Okay, yeah. So focal plane, I would look at it to be between this range. So you can get like most of your asset in focus, right? And if you get like these details on the side in focus, take a render with the focal plane here, and then move the plane back further or something like back here, and have those two renders, and then you can go in Photoshop and just paint out, like if you want this area to be blurrier, you have a version where the depth of field is correctly kind of blurred, and that'll help you control that a bit. Let's see what else we got going on in here. So there's that. I mean, material wise, everything looks nicely balanced. I feel the environment's not kind of competing at all with the rest of the prop. Maybe the darker areas here are too dark. Let's because you can see, like, in this render, your shadows aren't nearly as dark, and this looks like, as far as realism goes, or like feeling less artificial, this feels less artificial because of that. So if let's just delete this and go in here, and what I'll do is histogram, no, color. There it is. What I'll do is just kind of eye drop in here, and if you pay attention to like where that dot is, can that get any bigger? No? I would love for this to be larger. Huh. Okay. Well, pay attention to where the circle is in the color swatch, and you can see it's pretty dark in here. And you want it to have a lot more information. Like this area, this is a lot better, and you can see this is already starting to like climb into a brighter range. You can see the difference here. Yeah, so just something to think about with your shadows. If you can, I would be doing your renders with an EXR as the format for the output, and then try and turn off your, there's some default Unreal tone values, like tone mapping that's going on, and it pushes these contrasts, and I think lowering those or making them less crunchy and having it more mid-range, so that way you have like, if we look at your histogram here, that way you can guarantee there's no like black pixel value, and you're having a full range to play with. And then in Photoshop, you can then adjust them. And don't worry about adjusting things like that in Photoshop. It's basically what post-process is doing, just not real time, right? So just something to think about. I'm not really seeing much. Let's see if I scroll down here. This is good. I kind of want to see the upper part here and like how this just looks with how everything's interacting. But the general like details that you're going with and the materials look pretty good. I don't know if this is like a detail normal or whatnot, but you know me, I'm always like crazy about detail normals. So if you're rendering this in Unreal, which it looks like you might be, I would definitely get a detail normal on here, and then just paint a mask that varies up how much of the detail normal is present, because that'll change and add so much more like surface variation for quite a low amount of work. And if you want to see some explanations of that, like how that's put together, I think in some of my previous streams, the last couple of weeks, I was making some masks talking about detail normals and masking them to control the strength of them. You'll get much more out of your asset that way. This is a nice render. I appreciate the background is not just a flat color. It looks like, I could be wrong, but it looks like there's a bit of a gradient. Yeah, it's very subtle. I would push the gradient further. I do have also like a video on YouTube about how you present your work against like a backdrop to be just like easier to like absorb or to look at. because I usually, and this gets commented on quite a bit when I'm in like interviews and whatnot, is like the backdrops just being flat can be a little. They don't hit the same way, if that makes sense. So if you can get like a nicer backdrop behind it, I don't know if you see if I can. Presentation, Dynasty, Empire. I need to like hotkey this or something. Presentation. Man. Okay. Oh, I found it. Stream clip. Okay. Share. Copy. I'll drop this in chat for you. There you go. But yeah, just to quickly glance over it. Let's just mute this. Get some weird Inception things going on. So yeah, so I'm talking about the backdrop here, and just getting like, what I end up doing is essentially duplicating the backdrop, and then just trying to do something with it that kind of pushes the material forward. And then you can see I'm doing some contrast work as well. Looking at like controlled bloom, like this is obviously way too strong, and you really would tone it back. Do I also critique characters, environments, and props? I do. I'm not a character artist, but I'm super happy to talk about that stuff. So just, I guess, take it with a grain of salt. But yeah, cool. Okay, let's keep moving here. I think I need to answer one more question of yours, Mana, and then I'll move forward. Also, Jan Van Loon, dope username. Don't know if that's a real name, but I like it. Adding breakdowns, what would recruiters want to see? So I think what recruiters usually like to see is technical understanding and visually pleasing work. Something that doesn't look, it's weird. If you simplify it, it's like, it doesn't look amateur, if whatever that means, right? So it's like, it just looks well executed for what it's trying to show, right? And then the breakdowns are really good. Dutch mentioned. I assumed it was Dutch. The Van part kind of cued off at that. But yeah, so there is that aspect, but also it's not just recruiters these days that look at the work, right? To get you to the people that are actually trying to hire the position. Usually it's a tool that everyone is, so let's say like 50 people apply to this position. That position hits the recruiters, and then if it doesn't get like auto flagged to be removed, and usually auto flag means like there's no like specific keywords that match with the job opening. So like if it's a material artist position and then you're saying characters and you're not really saying material artist anywhere, it'll put you, it doesn't remove you, but it puts you in another group, or it can put you in another group. It depends how the company is that applies it. And then, so it's just, think about the position you're applying to, right? But when you go into this bucket or any of those buckets, everyone can see you. That's part of the position that's being filled. So it's not just a recruiter. Either the art director or the lead that's going to be your lead if you got the job is likely looking at the content as well. It is also possible that you get denied and then the lead goes and reviews the ones that were denied and goes, no, we should talk to this person. And then you will be pulled back forward, and then so don't take that type of stuff very personal. Just something to keep in mind. Is it better to post a breakdown separately or include it in a single post? So when your portfolio is quite small, I think a breakdown, like when your portfolio is like one piece, a breakdown being posted separately can be good for getting traction of viewing. But then maybe after the views on that post die down and you have some more posts of other pieces, merge the the breakdown into the other scene. There's not really a good or bad choice here. That's just my personal way of how I would probably approach it. Eventually, you merge in the breakdown so that there's just less clicks, and if the breakdown is minimal enough, then there's less scrolling, and you can just get an idea of what's there, right? Any portfolio piece, I'm looking at the next one here real quick. Any portfolio piece needs to be answering the questions that the recruiter or the person hiring has, right? So if they're not sure about what you're like, oh, I don't know if they're good at this or good at this, like, I don't know if they're good at texturing, or I don't know if they understand PBR, by showing your understanding in your posts, right? That's how you basically alleviate those concerns. Oh, yeah. Oh, I remember you working on this. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Okay, so I recently posted this new project on my portfolio where I explore realism and vegetation, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on the presentation and quick feedback on the main shots if possible. Just gonna absorb here for a little bit. I think showing the back doesn't really do anything for you other than highlight that you spent more time on the front than the back. Or like if you're going to show the back, I think it's totally okay to change the direction of the lighting. And instead of this just being in shadow, you know what I mean? This is cool. It feels strangely framed, I guess, because you want to frame the shadow as well. Man, this feels really nice. It's interesting because I think what's missing is like the high points of the range, if that makes sense. So let me scroll through these. These are great. See, there's some high points in the roughness here. Nice breakdown of the pieces. This is awesome as well. Super nice. Dang. This is great. So when I see this piece, it's clear that you're understanding the workflows that are being used. You don't have to do it this way, but of course you're going to get a lot more bang for your buck when it comes to normals, and then some really clean alphas from it pretty easily. And also it shows like the range at which you're playing with sculpting foliage. So if you were applying for a foliage position, this is something they would probably be wanting to see. It's like just what you're pushing and all of that stuff, and what you're able to achieve, and with what tools you're doing so. You got some materials as well, and this is your that's actually pretty cool. So it's a photo bash concept using photo references. That's pretty rad. So I think the first thing that stuck out to me, presentation wise, so this shot's pretty cool. I think framing wise, let me just copy this. We'll just bring this in here, and then I'll just I'll paint a little bit, but like playing around with the shapes of the ground and not letting the mask just end because that's where the mask ends. That'll go a long way. And you could use like you could use a mask that tiles over the top of this that just kind of breaks that edge up, you know? And it's nothing crazy, but it could be also just to lead the eye, you know? So like pretend this is all framing wise right now, it's all like this line. Let's grab something a little brighter so you can see. So framing wise right now, it's just this line. And I think if that line was more part of the composition, you know, I think that would help. That would help a lot for the quality. Because now it's like you can see how I naturally just pull this front area up or like out towards the edge of the frame. this allows for your eyes to just kind of do this, right? And because it's closer here, now it creates a tension line between here and here, which causes another point to like push your eyes towards the gate. And it's one of the reasons why I was saying like don't hesitate to like rotate the lighting for this view. So like for example, like you can see in this shot, you've got the tracks from tires. I'd bring those tracks into the mask, like get those tracks to just kind of show up, and maybe even go off of the frame a little bit. Maybe not fully off the frame, but just showing a path, you know, because then it just becomes part of the storytelling of the composition. There's a little bit of tangent on the side here. Might not be too big of a deal. I usually don't like these to clip or have them clip extremely, but I like the details that you have here. So preferably I would just want to see a little bit more of the, like how much is a little bit more as well? Let me see here. So if we, so maybe like that much. Doesn't need to be that much, right? But yeah, we can see compositionally how much more you could get out of that. Also, you're clipping at the top here. I think maybe if with the camera being as low as it is, maybe you could play with the FOV, and that could get you a little bit more of the treetop in the frame, and then you'd probably be good. So those are like the things that I was reacting to. And then I was talking, I'll highlight one more thing. I was talking about everything being very like mid-ranged in its value. So like if we look at this shot, let me see if I can I switch this to, and I need to play with this more. Sliders, let's go to like grayscale. Yeah, okay. So like try and find like some of the brighter areas. So that's sitting here, right? So that's 65. We'll say that's at 65. The background goes to 71. And like the flowers here, they go to 80. So these flowers are brighter than the background. But what it feels like is missing is just that little bit of, you can see it in the levels here. We're missing like this whole range in the front. And by bringing that up, like of course everything becomes brighter, right? And this is just me kind of illustrating getting the range in there. But just remember that you can use this range in the front to pop details. So we could, let's bring this up to here, but instead we'll add like a mask to it and invert that. And the idea is that you can, I'll just paint it, but you can use that pop to elevate parts of the piece, you know? So if we, let's see here. I'll just kind of eyeball it a little bit. Like if you wanted to have some of these stick out a little bit more, you know, to do this, you're going to have to do it in the material, likely in the roughness, and maybe even just like in the way that the material is behaving. Because this is how you're like shaping your view, your shot. Because by doing this, now elements will pop out just a bit more where you want them to, you know. And even like these little flowers, don't be scared to like get closer to the, not white, but like getting up there. Because see, like if let's scale this up, I'll just go a little bit heavier handed. You can use this to your advantage to just get details that just stick out a whole lot more, you know. Just gonna erase that. And even like helping you shape the form of the tree more. because of it. This is pretty heavy-handed, but I think it illustrates the difference here. It just gives you more form, right? And then you can see how it takes your ferns and just pops them off the grass a bit more. Drill, I can try, man. What I'll usually point out is things that look weird. Usually when I'm not super educated in things like characters, for example, I'll just like react to the thing I'm seeing and why it feels strange to me. But the way of fixing it, I likely won't know because it's a technical it's a technical thing. But I mean, we can try, man. We can try. Anyways, I hope that's helpful. I think it illustrates kind of what I'm talking about. You can see how much the tree like pops out from the environment, and by the backdrop not becoming any brighter, it's even easier to like really separate it from the environment. Cool. Let's see here. The post is really nice though. I think this all looks really good. A lot of the content, like the way you're presenting it and the breakdowns are all really nice. The materials are cool. They're not like, the materials look good to me. Like especially the grass looks nice and soft for the fact that it's like a material. And then the fact that you have like a photo bash concept in the end is really cool. But I think overall, I mean, it's a good post. I don't think you need the back shot. Like if you need to shorten this, because there's a lot of scrolling. If you need to shorten this, I wouldn't have the back in the post. I think you're like forcing it. It feels forced to put the back view in. Yeah, I mean, yes, you're a stylized artist for sure in your previous work, but this looks great. Oh, okay. Here's something that I can kind of highlight. So in the tree, the tree feels quite soft, and I think this is your stylization coming through, and it might be why your range and your materials, like how I was trying to get you to add some of that brighter part of your histogram. The tree is having a similar problem, but it's also in its core is missing some shadows, which are making the volume feel less. Let me see if I can illustrate that, and then I will move on. Again, we're bringing it up by quite a bit. I think also if I bring the black values in, you can see there is some shadows in there. Let's do that. I'm gonna just like contrast it a little bit, and then we'll do this one. We'll call this like shadows, and then we'll do another levels. We'll do it for brightness. We'll do this as like a multiply. Cool. And then we'll paint in the shadows, and then we'll paint in the highlights. Invert this. So first of all, let's get the shadow. Wait, what? Oh, I see. Need to turn it on, man. Cool. Okay, so let's say that these are the pieces popping forward. Actually, the shadows might help me with this. So this is gonna look kind of crazy. I'm just gonna search for some of the shadows. Like let's say this is all behind. This is like inside, maybe not that part. And so I'm trying to get some volume, but I mean, I'm like slapping it together, so this might be a horrible example. But getting the shadows to go in, and then getting the highlights to come in afterwards to support the directionality is going to help you get more volume to your shapes and make your foliage feel more volumetric, if that makes sense. And of course, we'll come in and brighten the tree up as well as we do. Oop. There we go. And right, this is like, of course, this is too strong. But just getting a sense of the depth is gonna be good. Dude, man, what's up? Good to see you. Good to see you, man. Dude, man, dude. But yeah, I think it's a common thing that's happening between the other thing we were just feedbacking on with the tree up close, and I think the reason for it is because of your previous work being more stylized. Would you say it's mostly the lighting that's flattening, or the normals, or the tree? It's probably a combination of a bunch of stuff, but what I'm trying to illustrate to you is trying to get more range into the directionality of your lighting and how your normals react to it, how the roughness reacts to it, to get volume, right? So in the tree, for example, it's about getting volume and more range from your darkest pixels to your brightest pixels. Right now, you're not using very much of your bright pixels. Yeah. Okay. Next up, Momin. Hope you're doing great. I'm doing awesome. I wanted some feedback. Something stands out. I wanted some feedback if something stands out. Let me just open all these up. Boop, boop, boop. And if something stands out, my texture, there's current state in terms of height map. Both are work in progress, especially the cobblestone. I know I want to reduce the noticeable pattern of the grout and cracks. For the bricks, I haven't touched the roughness. So first of all, like right out the gate, just looking at this material, it's cool to see. I've always been a fan of like the like globby grout that kind of comes forward and gets on top of the bricks and stuff. Always cool to see. Just like a nice characteristic of like, because we can author something that can look cool, we do it, and it's just a nice detail. Of course, the cobblestone, I agree. Like it's just missing. It's missing the other material layer, so we're gonna ignore that for now. Like maybe the cracks are a little generated feeling, and the way that basically, if someone knows Substance Designer and they can in reverse reconstruct what they're seeing, then you're not, you're just using. It's like using smart masks in Substance Painter. You just see the smart mask. So like, I can see like I'm assuming this is like a cells, like a Voronoi, and then you're using like a, man, I can't even remember the name of it now. The mask, like displacement that you can use like a max or a min, and it breaks the edges up to chip it, and it just looks like it's being used really extremely. Yeah, slope blur. Thank you. But like, I'm happy that you're connecting your references in here, because then you can see like the types of materials you're working with, and what type of information you're trying to go for. So let's look at the bricks for now. And I think for the bricks, whenever you're working on this type of stuff, I don't know if you already have the roughness in here, but work on your normal, and then whenever you want to preview it or really like get a gauge for how it looks, make sure you get an ambient occlusion and then a roughness, even if it's just a general like flat color roughness for like the bricks versus the grout, because you want to be able to block out those materials as early as possible in every channel that you can. But if you're just gauging the normal, the height information, how it's reading, I don't think you need albedo, for example. If you do use an albedo, maybe it's like using a really low value to use curvature and like convex and concave highlighting to just kind of emphasize the shapes a little bit. But you're just trying to see and test like how things look. I think what I would say for your bricks, so the bricks feel pretty good. Maybe they're a little too uniformly rounded, but I like the variety of like breaks that are happening, and like there's some nice cracks. These like round circle chips are very similar in size. I see one here, and then I see like two more here. This is very nitpicky though. What I would maybe suggest doing is making a version where the grout's very controlled and a version where the grout is just on its own, right? And then you can blend between those with either a mask or vertex painting. And I think that's where you're going to get the majority of your variety. These cracks look okay. This one maybe is getting a little too squiggly, so it's feeling a little soft. This can be okay, and maybe it's just more of like you need to do a chipping there to push that detail. My music stopped. Hang on here. I can't go without music, man. I don't know if Dude Man's still here, but I've been using YouTube Music instead. Relatable. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Generally speaking, though, nice surface definition. I think if you're like, if this is just for a scene, then just keep going and maybe take on some of the feedback I said. If you want to like push bricks further, I would make a mask map that separates the grout from the brick. Get a detail normal for both of those. And then a mask that allows you to color sample and change the variety of colors in the brick through your shader. You're going to get like so much more out of your brick if you can do that. Because then you can save this brick and you can use it for any type of different colored bricks. Or if you want to tweak those values in engine. Yes, in engine. So make those masks so that way you have full control over color variation of the bricks. And then, like I see in, where is it? Last thing I'll say. In this view, right? You have the bottom and you have the top of the wall. Always think about what happens at the bottom of the wall and what happens at the, like, away from the ground, right? It's gonna be things like the wall gets dirtier at the bottom, right? Either through like people kicking stuff around or stuff building up at the bottom, or like rain and splattering of mud and whatnot that gets you that variation. So you'll be getting gradients in your walls as well. Probably would do it in the shader, and then maybe you can use the masks we were talking about to vary up like how that dirt layer happens. Yeah. But it's looking pretty cool. This is definitely further along than your cobblestone. So I think if anything, maybe it depends on the scene overall and like the direction you're going in, the time frame, the city it's in, variations in the how far in or out the bricks are could be interesting, but it all depends on context. Don't do it just because it'll look like cool, right? And yeah, nice. I hope that that helps. All right, we got. Let's copy this, paste this here. Oh wow, it's big. Cool. Let's see here. This is looking pretty dope. It's quite. Let's look at your. So you are pretty heavy on the darker range, and of course, like these materials here are really dark. If I drop these. With PBR, right, you're gonna want to make sure that your black value does not go too dark. And I think, let's see, RGB. Yeah, it's like 13.7.6. Wheel. It probably should be closer to like. Of course, you're getting color in here, right? So as I bring up the value. This is why I like to do the sliders. Oh, but there's no value in here. Hex? No. HSL. There we go. Okay. I like HSL because it's easier to dissect your color. So if we eyedrop this and we paste this here or paint that there, you can see like value wise, like light, it's at 3, and as you bring it up, it's going to get more tinted, but I think that that color is coming from the fact that the environment is that color, right? So it's taking on a lot of that color information from the lighting. But yeah, you probably want to be having this sit at like maybe 10 for blacks. Just to try and not let materials go too dark. Also, what is this? I mean, we're in lighting, right? So the colors are going to be a little crazy. Saturation's probably okay with this, just as a guess. But yeah, what some of the stuff I wanted to highlight here. So overall, the scene's looking really cool. Maybe the outside is too distracting, or like needs some atmosphere back there, so it just separates it from the rest of the room. So like imagine it's like either really foggy out, or if it were snowing, you get that a nice separation. Don't add snow just because of me saying like that as an example, but it can even just be like the brightness of outside is really making it hard to see what's going on out there. This is Affinity. I'm using Affinity. But the other things I was going to mention, these are really straight. These bad boys here. I think just taking a few of them and bringing them further forward, and maybe like one or two and bringing them further in, and you're just going to get a little bit more of a natural kind of feeling of how that stuff comes together. What else we got here? This is nice as like a separator. It's kind of hard to tell what it. I think these are little vent grate type things. Maybe it's a little wide, or the detail doesn't, like it doesn't. You don't relate with it. Because like if you think about walking around in a space and you see a little vent on the ground, or a vent that helps you separate like dirt from one space to the other. Usually these are going to be at like pathways where like this is outside and this is inside, and then you're kind of you're going through. It's going to help you catch a lot of little gravel and rocks and stuff so they don't get kicked in. Think about how many gaps are here, right? These, like, it looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's probably going to be narrower, maybe half of the size, and then it's going to be like, it's going to be something like this instead. You know what I mean? And that's just from the ones that I see when you walk around. This is why reference is going to be everything. These don't usually rest on top of these, but I mean, it's not all that weird. What I will say feels a little strange right now is these signs up here being like so high up, right? Because if you're expecting someone to read this, especially like basically the people who go to museums are ones on vacation and the elderly, right? Retirees that can just, they're just wandering. They're experiencing the world that they've been trapped behind a desk for their whole life, and now they're wandering. It sounds grim, but just trying to paint a picture, okay? But they're not going to be able to read up there. So having the sign further down, I think is fine, and makes more sense. And maybe there's going to be more important information, or like where restrooms are at, or like, those types of things. Those are all gonna be more at eye level, right? That's definitely something to think about. Overall, the scene's coming together pretty nicely, though. Yeah, it's cool. The way that the bricks go into these curves, I would look in your reference and see like how they form. Just to confirm how that all reads up there from a natural standpoint. And then, like I was saying earlier, it feels a bit contrasted. I mean, I know like this feels, to me, this feels more natural. Like just a little bit softer in there. And then being able to understand at first glance what these materials are. Like, what is this material versus this material? Where these break, is there like any, like the camera gets pretty close here. Maybe you can make a few decals or some smaller stuff that can like collect up on these spots just to imply the detail of the scene is there. You know, just some smaller stuff there. This is nice though with the little signs and whatnot, and you're adding much more information since the last time we talked about this stuff. That's grounding it more, right? And it's giving it a sense of scale. And now I understand more of like how big the space is, how large stuff is versus small. Check the size of these. These, like, I forget what they're called, but check the size of those versus the height of a person. Like, look that up online and just confirm that the heights of those are correct. Do the windows look like wood now? I've tried to fix that. They do look like wood now. Yeah. I don't know how they're constructed though. Like this just merges into this. So it's just all one piece, right? Where I guess I would expect to see like I can see there's a seam in the normal, in like the way it's UV'd. I would lean into that seam and actually make it feel like the construction of the wood. Right? Or even like layering them on top of each other so that you understand how they're connected. Because you want to think about how they're put together. Or you need to be able to understand it when you look at it, how they're built. Anyways, cool. Cool. Got an hour left. I just want to make sure we're hitting all this stuff. This is my first professional post on ArtStation. Azaleas? Yo? Or is it Azalis? Isaias. I think it's Isaias. I'm seeing it in... Oh, man. Maybe I need new glasses. That I looks like an L. Hi, yes. Hello. Hello. Welcome. So, first professional post on ArtStation. I've been working as an environment artist for a year now. Dude, let's go. Let's go. And you don't even have the dev tag, man. I got you the dev tag. You're gold now. So, yeah, hardly have any time to update my portfolio, dude. That's how it rolls. Once you're making the stuff, there's no time ever to post your stuff. Just make sure you're collecting everything you build, you know, so that you have a library of things to put together when you do find that time. I'm guilty of missing all types of opportunities to screenshot things and forgetting about it. And now all I can do is screenshot the game. Like that's kind of meh. But in this post, you'll find some assets I made last year. Thank you very much for your attention. All right. Right. So, okay. So this is essentially what we're looking at as a breakdown. And you're showing the final version, you're showing the wireframes, you're giving some like details on like triangle counts, roughness, showing it in context, all the maps. I don't know. So the density being 10.13 sounds really strange to me, and I don't know why it's that number. For me, I don't know if you need to include this information down here at all. Yeah, I'm trying to see if there's any other. The other thing too is like, so this is 3D division, or 3D division. So I like these breakdowns where it's like a scene. I think if you were to do the scene and then doff out everything, like the camera's really focused on the prop that we're looking at, that'd be pretty cool. Ooh, look at that vending machine. Dude, let's go. So you can see though, I already did it accidentally. I got excited about the vending machine, but I'm supposed to be looking at the fire extinguisher. Oh, this is cool too. Some like nice setups. Dang, that login screen though. It's It's kind of traumatic. um, huh. So I think you can show a lot of this in ways that just make it easier to digest. So there's a lot of information to look at, right? But what you should always ask yourself, what do you want us to be looking at? So if the goal, for example, of this one is to look at the fire extinguisher, doffing out everything or like making the environment slightly blurred, like a little bit of doff, maybe grayscale it or like heavily remove color and then leave the color on the fire hydrant and just push everything to like focus on that, right? Or let me think of if there's anything. This mask, for example, you don't need this because it's black. I don't know what this is even for. And when I see the AO and the roughness and the metallic separately, it makes me think that I don't know if you guys were packing these together or not. I assume you are, but I don't know. So what I would say is like, it might be good to just pack these together as a RGB mask. So then you have your base color, then you have your roughness, AO, and metallic, and then your normal. And if you really want to like break this down, you can have like, you can set it up in a way where you can essentially, let's say your packed masks on the left side here, and then you have your 3 channels to the right, and you kind of draw an arrow to them so that we understand like how it's put together. One thing I'll say about this asset is there's a lot you can probably get away with tileable materials and not have to like bake anything down. Like maybe you want the AO, and that makes sense. But like, then you wouldn't need, you could reuse the tileable materials for a bunch of stuff. But it all depends on like how the content's being authored, right? If this is just for like putting on fab and selling assets, this makes sense because you just need to keep things like contained in a per asset basis, following like a similar shader. And by packing these separately like this, it allows whoever buys the assets to handle it in their own way. But yeah, I hope that was informative or what you were looking for when it comes to your post. I'm gonna keep trucking along. All right, we got Pearl. Hey Jeremy, it's Pearl. Hello, Pearl. This is my first portfolio piece that I did. I decided to go with something a bit different than normal. Isaiah's dude, no problem, man. I hope I'm saying your name right. I decided to present my portfolio as a storyboard. I love storyboarding the most since it's my strong suits. Nice. Yeah, lean into those. Why not? So I'd like to know any recommendations or opinion on it, like if I should reorder anything or improve my 3D aspects. Okay, so we got the top post here. What is ArtStation? What's happening? I'm just scrolling down. Can you make something using these? Nice. So the presentation is unique. I like that. Oh, so I actually like it the most for the concept in the research section. This one's a little chaotic with the arrows. I can see you're trying to do something with it. The head being broken off is pretty wild. So yeah, so for me the presentation is pretty cool. I feel like there's a few shots where it kind of gets in the way. I think reserving the first like 1 to 2 images for like the beauty renders with no storyboarding on top would be really good. And then maybe like right after that, you do a breakdown. That's more traditional, right? And then the storytelling that you're doing here, I'd almost use this as like an opportunity to like, instead of, because you really like doing this type of presentation, I would lean into it in the sense that like you do the posts like this more traditionally without the presentation side of it. So it's more like how a lot of people post their stuff, just so we can understand and appreciate how you're building things. Which also, this detail up here, when the camera is really close to it, I was trying to figure out like how, like what is the surface? And it looks like it's supposed to be painted on and then cracked, right? The cracks look inverted normal wise. And then the painted on areas feel like they're having too much depth to them in the normal. I'd probably remove a lot of the normal information and then like rely on the cracks to do that. But going back to the presentation side of things, I would take the storyboarding stuff that you're doing here and move that to your social media side. So it's a way of marketing yourself in a different way that is more interesting than like, so I go to LinkedIn, right? And then I'm looking at LinkedIn posts and I'm like, what are these people posting? What is this? And then I see this. This is much more refreshing than finding out about like some tech bro, you know? So I think keep this skill and use it to push your portfolio and your work in other spaces that help pull people towards your portfolio, if that makes sense. So it's like it's like another way to market yourself in other spaces that doesn't necessarily need to be in your portfolio. That being said, though, I think it is pretty cool and it's quite unique. Some of the stuff I was going to mention was the wireframe. So the wireframe of this like embroidery detail, dude, that's wild. And the little like the little fairy with the missing head. It's like so dense. Same with the detail on here. Like you probably would want to do this on a trim sheet or like in your baked texture. Like if it's 0 to 1, right? And it's all baked. Reserve like the bottom, like, I don't know, 128 pixels all the way across. So 128 high and then all the way across on the bottom of just a tileable of this type of detail. And then you can use that on top of this and greatly reduce your poly count. Because to me right now, this isn't low poly and this isn't even like mid poly. This is still like you couldn't ship this type of poly count, despite what you see on social media sometimes with like sandwiches and stuff. I don't think that was real, by the way. But yeah. And then this is great with the breakdowns of the maps. Yeah. I like the little bit of character on the what is it? The price sticker. It probably could use a little bit more geometry just to really make it feel like it was pressed on there. But yeah. Magma, you don't know what low poly is until someone says it is. You know what I mean? And low poly it varies. If you want to say like game ready, it's kind of more ambiguous, right? But yeah, this is really cool though. Seeing the bonus shots, like these shots, these are sick. How come I'm seeing these like so far down? Like these bonus shots should be up here for sure. They should be in like your base like presentation. And then the presenting, I would save that for other locations, other mediums to like get people to get to your portfolio. Pretty cool though. Pretty cool. And be careful with like normal information on surfaces. Think about like what the material is. Like, let's say this is porcelain. If you look at porcelain really closely, does it have this like normal noise in it? This kind of surface detail? because it probably has something, but what it looks like up close, that all depends. Low poly is a very controversial topic nowadays for some reason. I don't think it is. The poly count needs to fit on the platform that it's shipping on. So like if you want to be working in games, and you want to ship on consoles and PC or Switch, that will dictate what your poly count should look like. So I should be able to, like, what I would want to see is how low can you go with the poly count and still make it look awesome. It also depends on the scale. Like if you made a game that was on phones where all you did was open up little like trinkets and like inspect them and look at them really closely, and you use maybe like AR to like move you're like using the gyro on the phone to look at it really closely, then the resolution makes more sense because the camera is like right in there and that's like all you're doing. Maybe like the little fairy is spinning and there's music playing and whatnot. But if it's just like a third person game, we probably wouldn't even let this open unless it's a third person like cinematic asset. And even then, like this little fairy piece will probably max be like 200 polys or 500 polys. And that's for the cinematic. Outside the cinematic, you just keep it closed. Don't show anyone the inside and use the cheaper one. The whole thing itself would be like 500, maybe 1,000. Although it really depends. These types of details, with things are rounding and then there's little pieces coming up, it gets really difficult to keep it low. So it's always interesting to see how people utilize their geometry. But man, that's a tangent I could go on forever on. Either way, the piece is pretty cool. UVs look decently packed. There's some space still like not utilized in there, and I find it strange that the backdrop is black. I would just make that a flat normal. And yeah, don't hesitate to put a lot of information in your roughness. That's where a lot of the work goes in. And depending on what engine you're working in, or like the look and feel you're going for me, usually I'm telling people that their metallic maps need to be black or white. It's white if it's metallic and it's black if it's not. Anything in between, depending on the studio, they kind of hesitate on it, but I don't think that's going to be something that make or break your job applications, for example. So, but yeah, cool. Pretty cool little asset here. Man, look at that. There's a fingerprint on there. The resolution on this must be wild. Yeah. Dope. I hope that was helpful. I just, a lot of stuff came out. Cafe. Christopher Lundquist. Hello, sir. Playground Squad, let's go. Dude, that's kind of scary. Just in general, and if I'm presenting valuable things for environment art. Let's see here. Let's take this in. Original concept. Okay. I'm going to need to see the concept. Dude, that's creepy. Oh, there's a little bit of a flicker there in the... Or am I losing my mind? Was there a flicker? Yeah, there it is. Boop. Scene looks really cool. Is this a render of it? Because the scene looks quite sharp in motion. Like this angle here is really dynamic. I find that angle more interesting than this one. You're seeing so many cool pieces from Playground Squad students on LinkedIn. They're probably all finishing their projects around the same time, given like the structure of their schooling. I assume, anyways. But this is pretty cool. I'd be curious to see what this looks like in like without any color. We're getting some technical stuff going on here. Dude, look at this. Using layered materials also. Cool. Yeah, so you're blending between materials and you're using displacement on them. Nice. So the only thing I don't really like about layer materials is there's so many like sub menus to be clicking. That's cool. Some nice breakup here. So your UV channel, wait, what? As a fun challenge, I wanted to try and fix seams on assets using tiling textures. It's overkill for this, but it was fun to solve. I just create a separate UV channel with opposing seams and use the green of the splat map to blend the seam. Ah, that's pretty cool. Nice. Just hiding that stuff. You got some materials. I don't know if you need these in here. And there's a wild FOV going on. Those aren't spheres. Are those spheres? They must be spheres. But are they? Ooh. So I've always been a big fan of this like time lapse. But dude, you're like soft blending between the frames. I love it. Yeah, really cool. Oh, look at this. Look at this. That's cool. Splat maps, vertex painting, visualize on the scene. Got some prop breakdowns. There's not very many assets here. That's interesting. Nice. Dare I click it? Use custom normals. What is AO Nor? Is that AO and normal packed into one map and then resplit? Yeah, that UV seam thing you were doing above would be a really cool blog post. Post it on all the socials. Get people back to your portfolio, you know? That's kind of like how I would look at it. Really cool. I think my only like reactions to it is it's very like samey in the colors. Like the palette's very like, it's so unified that I'm just looking for color somewhere that's different, you know? If there's some element, like maybe the rusty parts or the metal parts, just being slightly different would help like with readability. Because this is almost approaching like a clay render where we're just relying on the normal and displacement information and then the roughness to tell us what's going on. I think if there's just a little bit more color and then you're getting this look on maybe like a dust layer, that'd be pretty cool. Overall, though, really, really nicely done. This shot, like these shots are all really cool. This back wall is wild looking. I don't know what's going on, but it's working. I'm like, what is that? How was that wall made? What's happening here? But really cool. Some really good. Oh, I'm going to your other stuff. Really good post. Nice sense of depth too, with the light coming through, and it's just you're really pushing our focus. Pretty nice. I almost wonder if the range of this light could be smaller, so it's not pulling so much attention. And then maybe like that handle, I think that's a handle on the door. If you move that handle or change it to a different shape on this door, just so that the doors feel a little different from each other. Good use of your props though. Holy cow. So few props, but such a space has been built. and some nice like storytelling. This type of stuff, really cool. Is that a horseshoe? It looks really, really small. It feels like it should be larger, for sure. So you might want to check on some scale stuff. But it's a pony shoe. Is it? Or are you just rationalizing the size? It's a micro pony. Cool. Nice stuff. Okay. This one, Alex. Yo, dude. Yo. Let's where are we at here? Is it this? No, yeah. There we go. Okay, so this one. Okay, hello. I'd like to give some feedback on this stylized Dutch-inspired European building kit. I'm working on a friend's game project, primarily like feedback on achieving a believable roof. I hope to add some individually modeled shingles to break up the edges, but I'm unsure how much geometry is acceptable for rooftops. Are there any other techniques you would recommend to achieve a sense of depth of the tiling, like parallax occlusion mapping? Use parallax occlusion mapping and self-shadowing parallax occlusion mapping, SSPOM, SSPOM. You'll get shadows casting from the parallax occlusion material, which is crazy. It looks like it works. It looks like it's modeled. The game will have top-down tilt shift style camera, so I was told that the camera will be able to see somewhat close to the rooftops. I would say get those buildings into the game and get them to show you the camera, because context is going to be everything. You'll never know how close they're actually going to be until the camera is like showing you. You know what I mean? But yeah, I guess you just need to be like, yeah, you're looking at like how stuff's put together. Yeah, and you're getting the shingle line like on the corners or like where they meet. Any way that you can see in this one, for example, this type of detail on the top is so sneaky for game dev, because this just gives you an opportunity to like hide the seam and just add a strip of detail at the top. You can also do like, you know how you do like edge decals to like fake the damage on the edge of a pillar, for example? You can do inverted ones where you basically turn this into a strip and follow along that, and then just put a texture in there with alpha on the edge, and you can just blend between the two. It's a great way to add like if you want leaf buildup in there as well, you can do like a tileable leaf texture that you can like vertex paint away, so you can build up and shrink the leaves. Yeah, I would definitely look at it in game to know exactly what you should do. I think as far as your modularity goes, it looks pretty good. Yeah, you got all the little pieces here. You got some bottom details. These, I guess, are for the rooftops. And you got some corners. You got a chimney. I mean, the only way to know like if your kit is good enough is see how many different buildings you can make, right? Find like the buildings they want to build for their level or the space that you're working in, and just try and make it. The most important thing with modularity, in my opinion, is making sure that that the kit has rules that you follow, and whenever you need to add something, that the thing that you add fits inside of those rules. Because as long as it fits inside those rules, you can kind of expand as much as you need to in the modular sense. For the rooftops, I think you can probably get pretty far with parallax occlusion mapping. If you were to like, man, what's the Anno series? So not Anno Pax Romana, but Anno, the one before that one. They go pretty hardcore with their buildings, and they're using Palm and all that stuff. Let me see if I can find like a Because Anno would be really good. Is it Anno 1800? No, that one's like hella old, isn't it? Do you guys know? Do you guys remember which Anno was before Pax Romana? Let's see. I might be able to find it. 1503. No, that's like way old. It is 1800. Okay. Okay. I'm going to just look at some screenshots really fast. Open image in new tab, please. Please be high res. Kinda. So depending on how close you get, you know? But they do some interesting things with modeling on the edges because it's all about silhouettes. But you can see, at least in this type of architecture, they're hiding. They're being really sneaky about the way they're modeling things. Man, which one? There was one I was like, what the hell? They're using like parallax occlusion mapping and arguably displacement on things. But you can see it's all about how you transition between surfaces and how they end. So like this detail on the top here, this could probably be like modeled on top of. And then this is just a tileable that's using the same tileable as this. But yeah, generally this looks pretty good. I think what I'd be looking at is how to make your rooftops not look tiley, given their tiles, right? But like finding a way to dirty up the edges or, you know, vertex paint or whatnot, if you can. I don't know what the budget is for you guys, but yeah. Yeah, you're looking at mesh decals as well. Textures planned, but other general feedback stick out to you would be welcome. Don't be afraid to use alpha decals that sit on transition points where you need to like rationalize the switch from one material to another. That's probably what I would say. Otherwise, I mean, this is looking pretty good. And if you can use vertex paint or mesh painting, that'll help you. Or masks. I think masks could go a long way with this if you're to use like a world space masks and then a unique mask for each tile piece. You get some nice variation in the surfaces and like build up and dirtiness between things. And definitely, you know, UVs these. Mark, what's up, dude? Good to see you. Okay. We've got a few more to go. I'm going to close. For new posts, so we just don't, so I can make sure I get to all of you guys. Jan is next. Hey, this is my latest character. Bro, wait, what? So I'm doing a quick, whenever someone's like, character, and then, you know, I just want to make sure the images I'm going to put on the stream are okay. You know what I'm saying? This looks pretty sick. This reminds me of Diablo. Hey, what's up, dude? Yo. This this is awesome. Oh man. Okay. Yeah, we're safe. Hope you guys don't mind. I'm not like full screening this stuff. Oh no. Internet, come on. Dang, dude. Hang on. That's pretty sick. Eyebrows look really nice. We don't sit here long enough for me to comment on the poly count of these, but then again, I think it all depends on like the context. Man, those horns are sick. Okay. Dude, what? Hang on. So these are like little crevices where like the stuff is built up. So art done right. This is pretty sick. What I would say is it's more about like thinking about how, dude, look at those nails. Thinking about how you can elevate this. So you're doing a really nice job of separating the materials out and giving them different roughness value properties, and it's all very balanced as well. Really cool character. The environment's moving. I really feel like the character would benefit from a rig where at least the pose is still moving a little bit, like breathing or something. This is really good though. I don't know if do you know what I mean? Like the character is so still, and it's only emphasized by the fact that the environment around the character is moving so much. The character looks sick. Like in a shot like this, this shot. So imagine the camera panning up and like just separating out some of these elements that you know are pretty free from the rest of the outfit and giving them a slight sway or like a displace from the rest of the outfit. Sounds freaking crazy, but it brings so much more character to the scene. Just the shot of like these like just moving a little bit. The other thing I was gonna say, this is a little crazy to mention, but I can see what you're doing here. This is such a cool detail. It's like basically like if you were to coat your hand in like a paint. So I'm assuming it's in a paint, like a black paint or like an ink. And then from using your hand all the time, you're getting these little crevices where the skin starts to show through. I think if you used like maybe in Substance Painter, if you were to paint some height or normal information that shows the cracking and caking of the paint around those areas, and it'll just feel like there's another layer on top of the hand. Because right now, because you can see so much of the skin normal, like the normal that signifies the skin, it looks more like tattooed on. And maybe it is tattooed, and then in that case, this stuff really confuses me, but maybe that happens, you know. Such a cool detail, though. And those nails are gnarly. I think the only other thing I could mention is maybe you need a library of detail materials. Similar to what you're doing with the fabric. It's like, I don't know if this is baked out or if you're tiling this. Because this normal information, you should be able to do a nice little tear there. You should be able to tile that stuff in a detail normal. It's baked. Yeah. Okay. Because I would like that. All of this information, like you should be baking these like large creases and the damage and stuff, and be leaving like there's even some nice like weight behind this string here. All of this, I would try and apply in a detail normal because it's just gonna look so much sharper. You can just tile it, and then you'll have a mask where you can separate this from the pattern. Really cool though. If this is all uniquely baked, this must be like a 4K or like UDIM, like 5 4Ks. Man, the skin is really nice as well. You have a difference in the roughness of the paint also, which is really cool. And having these ones, it is, haha. How many 4K maps are we talking? Man, really cool. It just needs to, in the future, it just needs some movement. That's all. Dude, the eyes are really cool. How come this one doesn't have the environment backdrop in it? That's interesting. Dang, dude. Dang, dude. There we go. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 200K. Hair and eyelashes and eyebrows, 15. Dude, when I got into games in 2007, it was 15 for the main character of a game in third person. For the whole character. So I get it with the focusing on the character. I still think that you should have something back there. It can be completely blurred out too. It's fine. It's just not black, you know? Dude, look at that roughness work. Super nice. It's nice with the gradients in the fabric as well for the dirtiness. The end, dude. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I think for these renders, it's fine. When you're doing breakdowns like this, having it black like that is fine because we're really now just focusing on material definition and all that stuff. Really, really nice though. Sick. The in render is kind of cheesy. The int, I think it's fine. Leave it. It's your character, you know. It is a little cheesy, but I enjoy it because not everyone does this. Okay, I'm gonna hop to the next one. Dang, dude. What? What? My initial reaction. What? Dude, playground squad again. Man, just looking at this shot, you know it would be really cool. This is crazy, by the way. So you can see there's lighting here. I'm assuming off to the side, you could go to like Maximo or whatever, get some characters that are just look like they're having a conversation and face them towards each other and then just put a light on them so that you get their shadows and it looks like someone's talking and you're just getting a little bit of their shadows. That by itself makes the space feel so much more alive. Because this looks like everyone kind of left and maybe they went outside because there was something going on outside. And they're discussing stuff outside and you just see their shadows and whatnot. Maybe the sound of someone walking with some shoes. It's really cool though. I think the execution of the content is very good. Dude, I love this shot. I think what's really bugging me is the environment in the backdrop is so similar in contrast to the environment like right in your face that you end up it's hard to focus on the stuff in the back or the stuff in the front. There's so much going on. I think if the environment in the backdrop just had more fog or something to separate the foliage from the windows, it would help a lot for like just being able to absorb the shot. Man, I'd love to see what this looks like at night. You can see how nice it is to look at these when everything in the back is pushed back. The DOF is helping with it, and it's just the focus is very clear. You're getting a little bit of fireflies on the edge of your render here. Like if we hit play here. So pay attention to the bokeh on the edge here. You can see it like crawl. So one thing you can do to get away from that is use just a slightly wider lens. So you're gonna get a little bit more fisheye, but just a little bit wider, and then in post crop it so you can just cut those outside areas out. It's like working with full frame with a real camera, right? And then cropping in to just hide anything from the shot. It happens out here as well, but that feels a little bit more natural. It's on the edge is when it gets kind of strange feeling, where it's like a shimmer. I love this. Really cool. Resolution's pretty consistent throughout as well, which is nice. Man, that's wild. Really cool. Is this a tileable material? I'm trying to understand how you put this together. What do we got going on here? Vertex painting. Nice. Yeah, so you're painting between two different. You've got your broken one and your non-broken one. Cool. What's going on here? We got some mask blending. Nice. Some nice breakup. Man, it's crazy how much this stuff helps with like hiding the fact that we're using tons of tileable materials. Whereas like you're tiling a material like crazy. Okay, here we go. So this is a normal. It's baked. Is it not? In an RGB alpha. It is baked. Interesting. Uh-huh. Oh, super nice. It's really interesting that this school is teaching through layered materials. Is what it looks like, anyways. This is really nice. This is something that this is the detail that pushes your work like that extra 5%. Is the surface transitions between, like, this is what you'll normally see, and then when you're adding those transitions between them, that's such a nice. Yeah, it's just tiling materials. That's good. It's really good. Yeah, this is nice. Is this because you didn't add any notes here? What's the context of what you're showing here? Because I see the difference, and it looks really good. But like I don't understand what you're trying to show me there. I don't know if you guys can see it. So I guess it's just painting between the damaged versions. But it changes so much here. Decals maybe. It does look like decals as well. But it's hard to tell. You're trying to show decals? Okay. So they're just floaters essentially, right? Like like mesh decals. It's a really good way of getting that breakup. A really good way. Very nice. Very nice. Really cool. That's a very, very strong post. But yeah, edge decals, nice. Yeah, definitely. Man, look at that's sick, man. Really, really good stuff. Definitely add some notes if to these posts or to these images when you can, just to help with context. Really cool. I think it's for me the initial shot. The only hard part about it is the environment in the backdrop is like really like stealing the attention from the rest of the environment. I think it just needs a slight blur and then you'll be good. But really nice. Really, really nice. All right, Eden. Should start by saying that I'm working on the foliage and coral right now, so should refrain anything about that. Oh yeah, don't comment on any foliage or coral right now. I mean, I'm excited for that stuff. I just want to know what I should do lighting wise. Scene's a bit blue, yes. I mean, I will add caustics in, by the way. Also, I know wild. What? I know wild for a sea environment. Plus thoughts on texturing on the pillars and temple. Since this is a new texturing style, I'm going for kind of Sea of Thieves-esque. I think the texturing's looking fine. The piece in the middle, I think, is an opportunity to introduce another color. Eden, yo. So, like, for example, the piece in the middle, maybe this or both of them are a different material altogether, and they're like emitting like a warm color. And then you can get some nice warm lighting along the edges here. So it's like a source of warm lighting. That could do it. That could help. Overall, I like the way that the painting is coming along. I think some soft blending between. Let me think here. I would see if you can make a mask that helps you get the sand into the crevices. And then that mask. It was very blue. It's a sea environment. It was meant to be a joke. Jesus Christ, Eden. The relic thing in the middle. I would make that a light source. That's warm. I think that will do something cool. The caustics will be really cool. And then the other thing I was going to say is a mask that you have control of that is using, like, I don't know how okay, first the question. The sand that's on the ground, is this using like is it tileable? And is it tileable in the sense that the shader is projecting downward? So it's like world space tiling. Because if you could make the ground world space tiling, you could apply a mask to everything that you want to have sand on it. And where that mask shows up, you could use the same world space sand on that mask. And that'll help you get some like really nice like sand buildup in little crevices and stuff. And give you the fidelity. Don't be sorry, it was hilarious. I'm just slow. Reading text is not usually how I consume humor. But yeah, like, oh man, I think that could go so far. Not your joke. I mean the sand. You know? Yeah, so like if you can get like little sandiness going on here, oh my god. Oh my god. I'm excited now. Because it could be so soft looking. So if the texture's tileable, I would build the shader so that it's projecting like triplanar. So it's like world sand, yes. And then you can just paint a mask where you want sand to show up. And as long as it's using the same world space, they'll all just line up and it'll look seamless. And you can get cool little like sandy details anywhere that anywhere that your mask is. It's just gonna look so it'll look so good. The thing I was gonna say about the mask here, so the resolution of the mask on the centerpiece feels too low, and the edge feels too generated. Like this white edge, it feels very, very generated. I think getting some variation in its thickness in a way that doesn't look like it's using, because right now it feels like it's using a smart mask. But other than that, I mean, I'm digging the direction you're going in with this, and I think if you hit this with like some type of like golden light, and you'll get some gold hits on the sides here, and everything will just point towards the center. Yeah, doing a decals would work for sure, but then you have to go in and place those decals. Whereas here you could just paint, you know. I mean, holy crap, you could use mesh painting and just paint in the editor. This damage is very like planar feeling, but I think given that it's all underwater, it kind of works. I'm excited for I think once you get your foliage in that you're working on, it's really gonna start to pop. And I'm excited to see the coral. But I would push the light source to be the centerpiece. Also, this edge when it comes down to it, do the same thing we were talking about earlier in the other post, is like just getting this to feel more natural. I think that's going to help you a ton for that variety, you know? Oh man, I want to paint more. I can feel it. I freaking want to paint more. Totally haven't been hand placing my foliage. I mean, it's just a diorama. It's totally fine to hand place your foliage. Really cool though. It's looking peak, man. Peak, no cap. Okay. Where are we at here? Sky. Progress. Yeah, you're just throwing a bunch of generators on there. Yeah, Miro should be yelling at you about that. Okay. Oh, look at this. We got some plasticity in the house. This looks pretty sick. An FN F2000 base mesh stage. This doesn't feel like base mesh to me. This feels like high poly. No? Ready to be dissected and critiqued. Thank you kindly. I mean, dude, I'm no weapons expert. But you're getting nice forms in here. I wonder, have you been to the Empire weapons library? Do we need to switch on the def signal? I don't think so. I think he's all right. Is that weapon in there? DEFCON helped me build that. He did most of the work. I just kind of like formatted it. So for anyone who does not know about it, here you go. Feel free to leave a tip at the Patreon because I have to pay for these images. So there's a huge library of weapons in here. And I think, not to the extent I found resources online. All right, cool, cool. I don't know if we have that in here. Oh, here it is. Nice. There's a zip file. Official page. What? What is this link? Yeah, so I mean with your weapon, yours is pretty modified. Like you have a rail on the top. That's not standard, is it? It is standard. The one I was just looking at, it's like there's a rounded top to it. But there's a lot of shape and form that you're going with here. I would say the things that are sticking out to me right now is mainly like this edge being so sharp and maybe the material here being so thin at the butt. But I am not a weapons expert to the point where I can start feedbacking on this stuff. You're making some really small bevels. Maybe those will come through in the bakes. Dang. That's crazy. Yeah, I think the one thing that I always see when it's like translating real life stuff um to 3D is that when you try to make it accurate in like thickness or like how sharp an edge is, but translate it to 3D, it just doesn't, it always needs to be a little exaggerated, a little bit thicker, a little bit rounder on a sharp edge, just so that like either the normals or the way it reads with 3D lighting just kind of reads a little better. But I mean, outside of that, I don't think I have anything I can really say because I'm not hard surface modeling weapons on a daily basis. I would say maybe the balance of like micro detail to like macro detail. Like maybe it's getting a little too micro here and you might lose all of that in your bakes anyways. Yeah, so you're gonna use a bevel shader in Marmoset, which makes sense. Makes sense. I mean, I think what I'd be doing then is like I'd probably start moving a lot of stuff over to do bake tests to see how it's all looking. Handle looks a little thick. Yeah, right here for the grip. It does look a bit thick. Like if you, at least in this image, like there's a straight edge and then it rounds and then it's straight for a little bit and it rounds, comes to a point and then straight, rounded. Oop. So it's something along those lines. Let's see if we can. Yeah, so like maybe this is narrower and this is longer. So you get more of like an average grip, but I don't know. Do you have like side views? Hey, Mana, have a good one. Do you have like side view renders of these or like of schematics of it? Because that's kind of how you would be lining that stuff up to just check those things. Because I think it's more important to get this shape, this inner shape correct, and this shape here, and that will all translate to like feeling correct scale wise, or like how it feels in the hand just looking at it, you know. But yeah, I don't have much else to say on it currently. It's looking cool. Be careful with going too micro in details. It feels like it's getting really micro in the front here. And it's very easy to tunnel in like that. But yeah. Hmm. Okay. Yes. That is all I have. Peachy, you're up next. Also for Playground. Dude, I gotta. Can you guys message me a teacher that's on the Discord? I want to talk to this group of this school, whatever the school is. This looks pretty cool. Latest Project Playground, would love to have a look at it. All right, got a YouTube video. Oh, we got some movement. Let's go. Okay, right off the bat, the roughness on the ground here feels strange, and the normal strength on the wood flooring feels really strong. I would leave that to roughness, but it feels like it's in the normal. This area right here feels like it didn't get the love and attention that this area did. Like this spot right here, like zoomed in right at this zoom amount. This is a great shot. And I love that this is moving. That's terrifying. The rug having a detail normal that shows like a rug type of surface will help a ton here, I think. Dude, that eyeball on the table, what the hell? Cool spider webs. If you could paint like a mask and then just push some movement in like the vertex shader to get it to look like it's being affected by the wind. Hey, D-Real, thank you as well. I hope it was semi-useful. Dude, the hand too? What the hell? That's amazing. How did I not notice that before? That's so crazy. Really cool. I don't have too much to add to it other than the dresser feels like it just didn't get the love that everything else did. Is the eye always looking at the camera? What? What the hell? Hang on. It is. Are you a plant? Did you know about this? Oh, it's really cool. Oh man, I love these types of renders too. the guy in the window, you didn't like that? Dude, look. They're moving, bro. That's horrifying. Horrifying. Really cool though. I don't have too much to add on it. Like, oh, it's nice with the fog and stuff in the air. Cards are cool. It's this. That and like the wood boards and the roughness decal here are distracting. Those are the things that pop out to me. I think this shot pulled in is all you need. Like maybe about here. And then like that could be the top frame. I don't think the dresser just doesn't need to be in the shot, I feel like. Really cool though. All right, umbrella. Last one. Look at this. Hey, I'd like some feedback on this post and the presentation, how to improve it, what I am short on, and what I could do, what am I doing right, and if I should do something more relevant to support the method in a game, real game setting, like modeling a car maybe, or a bigger prop. Thank you. I see what's going on. Raggedy. Good job, man. Okay. Modeling wise. Modeling feels pretty good. The bevel maybe gets a little tight here, but maybe that's just a lighting, but it feels like the bevel gets narrower as it goes down. I think So materials feel pretty good as well. I think the thing that's sticking out to me the most is so first how everything is constructed. So knowing like, okay, this is inset, this is an inset piece, but this seam here like is the same all the way down, or this corner. How is this put together? Is this side panel the same as this one? Are they like if it was built in real life, like how is it constructed so that you can use it? You know what I mean? Like you have a cable that goes into a connection piece. How is that connection piece attached to this body? I see they meet, but like that connection point, those are the things I'm curious about. This frame that's on the bottom here, is it always there, or is this just rested on top of it? Does it lock in? Like seeing the logic for like how stuff is put together and how it interact, that's the stuff that I usually look for. This piece, this is a perfect spot for some type of a lock where like this rests on top of it, and then you bring this latch over and then it's just locked in. From this view, looks pretty nice. I think what I'm reacting to is the differences in materials. I just don't know what some of the materials are. Right? Like these cables, they look metallic. But I think they would benefit from being more of a rubbery like material. So the metallic value all the way to 0, and then you're trying to get the roughness to feel like rubber. And then this upper area being like a metal, but this is a different metal. And then there's like if you look at it, the shapes it's very flat outside of the top detail here, and then the connector point here. Like the body of the unit that we're plugged into is very simple. Like all this stuff could be exaggerated, modeled inwards. These like side things could be further out to just kind of affect the silhouette. Those are the things that would push it. Like this is heading more in the right direction, just because there's so much more details popping out and breaking the silhouette. There's like logic to like how things are touching. So like you can see this little edge just popped up there so that it holds together. You can see screws as well, so you kind of get a sense and an understanding of like how it was constructed. Ooh, I love this. I think the detail normals, like this looks like detail normal to me. I would try and like find ways to like making a mask and controlling the strength of it. You can smooth it out here or use a different detail normal. That would push the surfaces further. And that poly count is super high for the ring. You could probably half that and not notice. But it's close, right? If you half the poly count here or the ring count, you'll probably be in the ballpark. Like in like this area in the center here, this should be cheapened for sure. One other thing, you were talking about game centric stuff. Like try to be really careful with long, thin triangles. Try to avoid those. It's probably better to like topology wise, it's probably better to do this. To like draw a box here and do the same thing. So the triangles are shorter here, and then connect here from the box or the square. That helps you terminate the long triangles earlier and leads to like you don't need this vert here. And the only reason that's there is because of these, right? So try and avoid longer triangles when possible, especially with like ray tracing and all that stuff. It just gets really difficult. Any UV islands that are tilted like this, those need to be as straight as possible. You want to have those straightened up for sure, because that's just opportunities for like the way it's baking to have jagged steps around like the seams of the UVs. Yeah. Oh, this is cool. Oh, and you have a material layering setup video? Here, I'll link this in chat. We're over time. I need to get out of here. Guys. I'm sorry. But this is a cool post. I don't know if that answered your questions, but I feel like just pushing the surfaces further in what the materials are, how it's like think about how it's constructed, where like screws are going to be, how stuff fits together, where there's going to be like seams between panels, as if there is an inside and it's covered. Those panels are covering up the insides. Pretty cool though. Yeah, just don't hesitate to. Also, where's the stickers? You want stickers that tell you like what's dangerous, what do you move, how do you remove this cable from the thing, and what if I need to get onto the insides? What screws am I supposed to remove? Is there anything I shouldn't touch? Those details will help a lot as well and give you a sense of scale. It's kind of hard to know the size of this thing. Oh, nice. Did you guys posted a lot of stuff today. Love it. Love it. It was really good. I'm like trying to find my music. Nice to see my animal. I was just asking about an educator to this squad. Poke me on Discord. I want to talk to you. It sounds scary. It's not scary. You just sent me a DM? Oh, okay. Okay. No, thank you guys for hanging out, posting your amazing work, your work in progress, your finished stuff, anything. It's great. And I appreciate you guys taking the time and listening to what I have to say and just engaging with each other in chat and whatnot. It's great. All right. I'm going to get out of here. You guys have a good Friday tomorrow. And I'll see you on Discord. All right, guys. See you later. Have a good evening. Bye.